It was supposed to run for 5 weeks only, and it ran for 7 years.
Switch on the TV, we may pick him up on channel 2.
Richard, if we could jump back to the Rocky Horror Show, is it true that that was your first ever attempt at writing?
Yeah, I was out of work, so I felt that I'd like to write something that I'd like to be in.
You started writing it for fun in the evenings, spare time.
Yeah, I wrote it for my own entertainment. I sat down with a friend and discussed the sort of thing I'd like to be in and the sort of thing I'd like to go and see. And he suggested that we wrote it, and he went away and opened up a recording studio, and that took him about 6 months. And he came back and said, shall we start writing the musical? And I said, well, it's finished and it's going on at the Royal Court in a couple of weeks' time.
Did you ever sort of secretly imagine just how big it could all become?
No, it was supposed to run for 5 weeks only, and it ran for 7 years.
And it's also played nearly every country I can think of.
Yeah.
Did you know that sort of people like Tim Curry were going to be launched in the show?
No, I ran into Tim. He was staying in a flat above a laundrette called the Speed Queen, and I ran into him on the street, and and it went from there, really.
Well, that was like 10 years ago, and since then you've actually tried a few other shows, you've written a few other shows, none of which have taken off in the same way. Did you ever worry that the Rocky Horror Show might be beginner's luck? Or?
No, I only ever do things for my own pleasure anyway. If, however, they appeal to other people at the same time, then your quid's in. If they don't, then it's just on to the next.
Right, and if we leap up to date with Shock Treatment, we see Brad and Janet, who were the central characters of the Rocky Horror Show, sort of come back to life, and the same production team reassembled. I mean, do you feel good that this one could actually take off in the same way?
Well, we've done it, that's all I can say. If it takes off in the same way, that's fantastic, but we've done it and we've made a different musical. We've made a unique musical, and it only cost us $4 million, and if you compare that to Can't Stop the Music and Xanadu, then we've made a brilliant musical, film musical.
It's sort of the basic story is based on American television. Do you ever worry that people in this country who haven't perhaps been exposed to large doses of American television will find it hard to relate to?
No, I don't think so. I think the Americans find it harder to relate to than we do, because we can look at them and we can see the funny side of their culture, whereas they're a bit too close to it. They're actually living that life, and therefore it's difficult for them to see it as funny.